guys, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I wanted to make a video because I've been seeing all these horror stories of OBGYNs. I want to tell my story on my OBGYN horror story. This happened with my second baby. He is now 3 years old. Before moving to the city that I am now, I used to have another doctor, another OBGYN. But since I moved in with my now husband and he lived in a different city as me, so I also had to switch doctors, which made me a little bit sad because the doctor that I was seeing was the sweetest doctor. He was so sweet, and he showed that he cared, you know? He showed that he cared about his patients, about the baby's health, about women's health. As I was saying, he was the sweetest doctor. I loved him so much, and so obviously I was really upset that I had to switch doctors. And by the time that I moved in with my husband, I believe I was about between 13 to 15 weeks. So I was a bit far along. So I needed to find a doctor ASAP. I did lots of research. I obviously had to find a doctor that worked with the insurance that I had. I looked at reviews, I looked at everything, all the things, but I just could not find a doctor. I ended up finding a doctor nearby, and as you may already know, it was a freaking nightmare. This pregnancy was so important because I had not been pregnant in like 12-13 years. So it's as if it was my first pregnancy. My last pregnancy, I was in my late teens. At the time, about 12 to 13 years ago. So yes, it was like my first pregnancy all over again. So it was special. This pregnancy took place between 2021, 2022. So it was during late COVID days. Still had to wear a mask in the beginning of my pregnancy. Nobody could go to the appointments with me. Not my husband, nobody. So that was already sad. The ladies at this new office were really sweet and nice and accommodating to my schedule in order to make the appointments. They made an appointment right away for me because they knew I was a little bit far along. So they wanted me to be seen as soon as possible. But that doctor, I'll tell you, that doctor, I believe he's Hispanic because he has a Hispanic name. So I'm like, oh, cool. He's Hispanic. I'll be able to, you know, talk to him in English or Spanish, whatever. I'll feel comfortable. It was already scary enough that it was during COVID time. I was alone going to these appointments. And when I go to this first appointment, I go in. I don't really remember what we talked about. I don't remember talking to him at all about anything. I just remember him checking the baby's heartbeat and then telling me that I need to get all these vaccines, shots. And I was like, okay. I go home. I'm like, I already have all these vaccines. Mind you, I was working at a daycare prior to moving. So I had every single vaccine you could imagine, even the COVID one. Forced to get it, you know. So I was like, oh no. Next appointment, I told him, I'm like, I already have all these vaccines. I used to work at a daycare. If you want to double check, you have all my health information. He should have known this, right? Prior to seeing me, he should have known that I already had everything. So I reminded him, and he said, okay. Every single appointment was literally a minute long. I had longer waits in the waiting area, up to more than an hour sometimes, just for the appointment to be a minute or less than a minute long. He would only check the baby's heartbeat for 3 seconds, and bye. So these appointments continued to be like this until one day I told the doctor that I had a question. At the time, I didn't know that I suffer from carpal tunnel, and as the pregnancy advanced, it was getting a little bit worse. I had already done my research about it, so I knew that pregnancy could cause carpal tunnel to get worse during pregnancy and after. But I still wanted to go ahead and ask my doctor, right? Because that's why I have a doctor, to ask him all these questions and for him to answer them, right? Well, before leaving that room, I asked him, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling numbness in my hands. Is it normal? What should I do? His response, you guys, his response was, yeah, it'll go away in a few weeks. See your primary care provider. I was like, what? That's all you're gonna fucking tell me? Seriously? To see my primary care provider and that it'll go away in a few weeks? Didn't go into depth into answering my question. You didn't tell me, you didn't give me no information about what was going on. I was so frustrated, you guys. I left, and as I got to the car, I started sobbing, and I was like, what? Is this a doctor experience that I'm gonna have for this pregnancy? I was so upset. And by this time, I was probably already 4, maybe almost 5 months, and they had given me, I remember them giving me a paper saying that they didn't do gender reveal or gender ultrasounds at 5 months. But that's all I read about 5 months. And mind you, my first pregnancy was about 12-13 years ago, so I didn't remember what ultrasound was for what ultrasound was important to do during pregnancy and blah all that. I was like, okay, they're not gonna do my gender ultrasound, then I'm gonna go ahead and make an appointment to a local ultrasound office and find out the gender and see if the baby was okay, because who knows when they're gonna do an ultrasound to see the baby. I already wanted to see the baby. By this time, I had not seen the baby yet. I had not had an ultrasound yet. That's what I did. I did an appointment to an ultrasound office. I obviously paid for that appointment to get an ultrasound, get pictures, get the gender and all that. It was beautiful. I also found it weird that they were not gonna do an ultrasound at 5 months, or at least that's what I remember reading from this paper they gave me. Everything seemed fine at that ultrasound. I mean, they're not able to tell me much because it's not my doctor. By this time, we already knew that he was gonna be a boy, but it's more reassuring when you actually see the ultrasound, I feel like. My pregnancy obviously progressed. I turned 5 months, I turned 6 months, I turned 7 months, I turned 8 months, and no ultrasound. I don't know why I never thought about asking. So I am now 8 months pregnant. I go into the office, and mind you, every time I went to the office was a nightmare with this freaking doctor, with his attitude, with his 3-second appointments. It's just terrible. Always ended up crying after every single freaking appointment because I was so frustrated. So, 8 months pregnant, I go into the office for an appointment. The doctor tells me, why haven't you gotten a 5-month ultrasound? Mind you, the 20-week appointment is the anatomy scan. He's over here blaming me. Why haven't you done the 20-week anatomy scan appointment? Why haven't you gotten the ultrasound? I told him, I'm like, because you never told me I had to get an ultrasound. You're the one that's supposed to tell me, hey, you're already on your 20 weeks. We need to make an appointment for your anatomy scan, or have the office call me if maybe he forgot. Make the office call me and tell me, hey, we have to make an appointment for the 20-week anatomy scan. Nothing. Nobody told me anything. He never told me I needed to do this ultrasound, because according to the paper they gave me, they did not do 20-week gender ultrasound. I'm not the doctor. This is like my first pregnancy. I don't know what has to be done. You're the one that's supposed to tell me, hey, make an appointment for this. I wanted to grab this doctor by his hair and I don't know what I wanted to do. I was a complete mess. I was crying my eyeballs out. I was scared to death about this baby because we didn't know. He was already so big. We didn't even know we were going to be able to see him in this 8-month ultrasound scan because he was already so big. I had really bad anxiety. It was the most horrible experience ever, having to deal with that stress and anxiety, not knowing if my baby was okay, if my baby's organs were developing okay, if he was developing how he should. It was such a scary moment. I don't wish on anyone, and you know how you are when you're pregnant. You're so hormonal and you're so emotional, and you're always worrying about the baby, if he's moving, if he's okay, if he's growing how he should, if everything's going okay. You're always worrying, and then finding out that you had to have had an anatomy scan at 20 weeks and you're already 8 months ahead and you never got this ultrasound done, not because of you, but because of this doctor who was not doing his job, who was not giving a fuck about you, who was not giving a fuck about your pregnancy. You guys can't imagine how I felt. It was a nightmare. This doctor should not have his license anymore. He does not care. You can see that in the reviews. And all the reviews, honestly, I feel like that they're not real. Because there's no way he cares about someone. If you're pregnant, or if you get pregnant, or if I ever get pregnant again, I wish myself and I wish everybody else the best pregnancy, stress-free, anxiety-free. And I wish you guys have a loving doctor, a caring doctor, and just an overall good experience. I just wish that I would have asked questions, but unfortunately, I did not. I didn't know. I thought I was trusting this doctor to care for me, to care for my pregnancy, and he did not care. So after this 8-month appointment, he schedules me for an ultrasound ASAP. I don't remember if it was the same day or it was the next day. They had an ultrasound tech in the same location. The ultrasound tech, I'm not sure if he was a doctor. As soon as I go in there, he tells me right away, why didn't you ever get the anatomy scan? We're 8 months ahead. Baby's gonna be too big. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to see anything. I was like, again, they were trying to blame me for not getting the anatomy scan ultrasound. I told him, I'm like, I didn't know I had to get one. Last thing I read was they didn't do a 20-week gender appointment. It didn't say get a 20-week anatomy scan appointment by the 20 weeks. I believe the doctor should be caring for my pregnancy. The doctor should be telling me what I have and what I have to do and what not to do. Never made an appointment for me. Why am I getting blamed for it? And he was just quiet. I didn't know what to say. And I'm pretty sure he covered up for this freaking doctor because he didn't tell me anything. I didn't even know I could report this freaking doctor till now. Till I've been seeing all these OBGYN horror stories. I don't know if I still can report this freaking doctor. As expected, baby was too big to see all the organs. Whatever the technician doctor saw, said everything was going okay, what he could see. I was still not relieved from the stress, from the anxiety that I felt knowing that I had missed this important ultrasound, and it was too late. And just remembering this, you guys, makes me so angry and makes me so mad. Thankfully, my baby was born. That doctor was not the one to deliver my baby, and I think he did it on purpose. I believe that he didn't want to deliver my baby because he knew he had fucked up. And I thank God that he did not deliver my baby, that who was born premature. He sent another doctor, a girl doctor, and she was the nicest, the sweetest doctor delivering my baby. She took care of me so much while delivering. Sorry, I'm gonna cry. Because I thank her. I was already going through this scary labor, knowing that my baby was premature. And having her help me through it all by being the sweetest and the most caring and helpful. I really thank her. Unfortunately, I don't remember her name, but I thank God that she sent her, and I thank God that it wasn't him delivering my baby. But yeah, that was my OBGYN horror story that I don't wish on anyone.